a specific frequency to affect the way we behave. It's true with a specific human frequency.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And what I want to go into today, is just a quick response to this video, that brothers have been going into. You have these Edomites, alright, speaking on about, as if colonization, was a good thing. And what you have now, under, this Trump presidency, okay, which we know Trump, his spirit, invokes, a lot of Edomite pride in the earth, okay. They really begin to show, their horns a little more, all right. And, for the last, 4 years, they've been made to feel, this white guilt, okay, as you have this fake, woke culture, and, you have, bringing down certain statues and bringing up a certain history. As the scriptures say, it's shameful spewing shall be on his glory. Okay? So as this devil, is being more and more exposed, all right, by all these different avenues and ultimately the prophets, okay, what you see now is a big kickback under the Trump regime to where these Edomites, they begin to justify everything they've done. And in their mind, they've done nothing wrong. Okay? And matter of fact, they did the world a favor by colonizing everything. Okay, that's the stance that they're taking. Like the world was just stagnant. There was no thinkers. It was just a bunch of, Neanderthals. And then, the brilliant so-called white man, okay, came into power and just changed and upgraded and enhanced everything. That's when the on switch of civilization started, when he began to colonize and rule. Okay, like there hasn't been countless, great kingdoms, great thinkers, inventions, technology, from agriculture to, the science, math, all right, without this devil in power, okay? But that's the Edomite supremacy that he pushes in the earth, okay, as if the world owes this nigga a favor. All right, and especially when it comes to the tribe, when you go to Zechariah 11:5, all right, because whenever you bring up anything about, his wickedness against the tribes, okay, his enslavement against the tribes, he, all right, justifies it with scientific racism, as if, he came and civilized, the tribes, and, they was people that was, functioning on a low level, and they really wasn't doing nothing with the land, and we came in and we really, started putting things to use that they was letting it go to waste, and all this BS, okay, which we know our captivity was a punishment, all right, and we understand too that this devil, he took things too far, okay, he did too much when the Lord gave us into his hands, okay, and there's a judgment for that, all right, when he's trying to throw off that guilt. But nah, man, prophecy and judgment is about to walk this devil down. Now, this is Zechariah 11:5. It says, who possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Okay, so in his mind, all right, he's like, look, I'm not guilty. You know, I've got rich off this, and look how much I've helped these people. You know, their own leaders don't even, you know, they was fighting each other. You know, they was fighting each other. Like, he came and was the referee and broke things up, you know, and just put everybody in suits and, you know, gave them 401ks and you see, you know, a Lincoln, you know, Oldsmobile, okay, and McDonald's, you know. That's the narrative that he pushes. Okay, they was eating each other. They were savages, you know. You know, that's what he pushes. What you had, you know, people that was into wickedness, man. Okay, they were doing particular things, but nowhere near to the narrative that he pushes, man. Okay, and he's in his mind, he did the earth a favor, man, especially the tribes. Now let's go here and play this video. Oh boy, hideous looking Edomite. Alright, you Edomite women ain't got it, man. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the Edomite woman, you know, but goddamn, you know. But let's play this.
We now have a generation that believes everything we did by colonizing. Yes, it is true. They think everything about colonization was wrong. It wasn't. There were some terrible things, and there were some good things to come out of it. And that is about properly acknowledging your past.
Education.
Yes, completely.
Sanitation. Transportation.
Yeah.
There was so much that we brought to communities. But that is. But you see,
you're typical of what.
Education, sanitation, transportation. So no one knew how to travel till these niggas came in power. No one had any, you know, education, you know, any type of form of wisdom for these niggas came about. Sanitation. Okay, do you understand that you devils come out of the Caucasus Mountains? You had no hygiene. Okay, you talking about some damn sanitation. Look at the filth of these big cities, man. Are you crazy? Talking about sanitation? Pollution in the goddamn air. Not the goddamn air, but the air. You know, goddamn pollution. You know, in the air is in the water. You intentionally destroy the food. So what the hell are you talking about sanitation, man? You know? Look at the wickedness that you do in this rulership, and you have the nerve like you just had this moral high ground, and there was some terrible things, but there was some good. Like, no, it don't work like that. Okay? It don't work like that. The scriptures say good worketh no ill towards his neighbor. So you can't have terrible then some good, and that good, you know, balances out the terrible. No. Okay? Because if it's love, it shouldn't be no terrible in it. Okay?
Talking about
no, I'm saying that colonization, the empire was wrong. It was wrong, full stop. That's, you know, the things that Britain might have done.
But that's very much through your modern sensibilities, you might say that, because we wouldn't now routinely go into other countries.
It was a profoundly racist set of basically invasions of other people, where we subjugated people to our rule and sort of made them work for us. It was
put yourself in the shoes.
Made their countries work.
But imagine yourself in the shoes of a 13-year-old boy hearing you say that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
What do they then? How do they then carry that through life?
Well,
in terms of who I am as a Brit.
But it's not about we had racist ancestors.
Nigga, you guilty. Okay, you're guilty. All right, and that 13-year-old, all right, guy, all right, these 13-year-old Edomites are gonna pay for the wickedness of their father. Okay, for the iniquity of their father, man. All right, as it says in the book of Isaiah. You see? So all this, you know, matter of fact, let's get it real quick. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. Okay? The script, see you people think about 13-year-old. For the Most High don't see no goddamn numbers. He see wicked spirits. Okay? He not looking at no numbers. Okay, and like, oh, he's 13, he's off. Nah. The Lord looking at spirits. He got every spirit exactly where they're supposed to be for this judgment, man. Isaiah 14:21, prepare slaughter for his children, you Edomites, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities, man. Okay? There's a judgment on you, nation of Edomites, man. Okay? Against you, the whole family of Esau, Edom. So it said, prepare slaughter for his children. Okay? So the 13-year-old, the newborns, the unborn, All right. If you are the seed of Edom, you're falling under that judgment, man. Okay. The scriptures condemn you Edomites. All right. All throughout the Bible, man. Okay. Micah 2:1 says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. So these devils in their rulership and their rest, going into them being upon their beds. Okay. What do these devils do? All right. They counsel on how to bring forth wickedness in the earth. Okay. And because they control, all right, the food, the education, the media, the music, okay, the pea industry, okay, with the bottle of pills, okay, they control all these different facets that dictate everyday life in the earth. These devils control all these different industries and entities that dictate everyday life in the earth. And what do? They infuse it with wickedness, man. They steal and they destroy. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, man. That's nothing good. They come and take lands, okay, and force their doctrine, okay, come and extrapolate the resources, leave people impoverished, okay, go to wars. You know, they have all these different wars on everybody else's land, okay, because you know they don't fight in these European nations. You know, they fight wars and where Elam is at, where Ishmael is at, okay. You see, they don't fight wars in their land. They go everywhere else and fight wars and destroy their infrastructure, man. Okay, and take their resources. Okay, and it says, therefore, thus said the Lord, behold, against this family, okay, against this family do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. So your devils can't remove your neck from this judgment, man. Okay, you're not gonna be able to ride off into the sunset in your wickedness, man. No, we in the time of a reckoning, man. Okay, well, the Lord is gonna finally deal with you devils. You've been reserved for this time of judgment, man. Okay, so trying to justify yourself on these talk shows is a waste of time. The scriptures say, rejoice and be glad. You should be enjoying your little piece of kingdom that you got left, man. All right, you're not going to talk your way or bring some scientific theory and then to be justified in your wickedness, man. You're going to be judged. Okay?
Say it, but I'm saying that we hear much more of that than we do about the benefits of that period of time.
Well, because I don't think there were benefits. I think that we have to be completely...
Of course there were. Benefits to us.
I don't think there were.
There were benefits to us.
A lot of those countries did not, Jonathan, those countries...
It absolutely does.
Those countries did not have money. They did not have the creativity. They did not have people in positions of power to do this.
No, they didn't. Countries. They just didn't live like Britain did. It doesn't make it worse. It just makes it different.
So it's okay to live without education, and it's okay to live without a transportation system, is it?
They did have education. It just wasn't our education system. They had language. It wasn't our language.
This cultural
medicine we brought to
precisely what we have.
Yes. I don't know why we're even.
Goddamn devils, man. You know, and what the hell education did you bring forth to the earth? All right, you have 26 genders. Okay, matter of fact, let's go into that, man. What the hell education did you bring to the earth? Okay, you have 26 genders, 50 genders. Okay, that people arguing about. Okay, you put here you get a jar of pickles and it's a paragraph of ingredients. What the hell is this, man? Okay, you know the marriage is a scam. This whole economy is a scam. So what education did you bring forth that is so great, man? Okay, these people didn't have you. So what was people doing? You know, and these thinkers think that the world was just on pause. That's why they have that theory they call the Dark Ages. Nothing was going on because they weren't in power. Goddamn devil, man. Okay, let me see how many genders are there. But you supposed to be so goddamn profound. Okay? Now this is his education. There is not a set number for how many genders there are, as gender is a spectrum and individual identifiers can vary widely. While the traditional gender binary male and female is widely recognized, many people identify outside this framework. Some gender identities include male, female, trans, gender neutral, non-binary, agender, pangender, genderqueer, and two-spirit, among many others. The concept of gender is complex and evolving, with people defining themselves in new and diverse ways, man. So that's the education you're bragging about. Okay, what you created a nuke. Okay, is that the education that you're bragging about? Okay. So I can't wait till you devils are not allowed to have anything to say, man. Till all you can do is just work, man. You know, when you get you devils in captivity, you're gonna work the sound out you every day. You know? Goddamn devils, man. They just lie so goddamn much, man. You know, and they really think that they it, man. Alright? That the most vile people, okay, the most base people on the earth, man. The Lord put you devils in power as a punishment to us, man. Okay? Let's go here to Daniel 4. Alright, and 17. And it says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the bases of men. So you're the basis of men that the Lord has set in power, man, as a punishment to us, man. Okay, and we get it. You know, and that's why we're begging for the Lord to bring you devils down, man. You know, you so goddamn proud, man. You know, as if you did nothing wrong, and as if you did us a favor, man. Okay, let's go here to the book of Habakkuk, because as we know, the Neo-Babylonian Empire, you know, it took down nations and put nations in captivity. But what is America called? Babylon the Great. It would do these things on a much larger scale. Okay, so you go here to Habakkuk 1 and 6. All right, it says, for lo, I will raise up the Chaldeans, okay, which are those ancient warlocks and witches of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. That's the elites of today, okay, because they fund and finance, okay, and facilitate, all right, this new beast system, man. Okay, well, America is the whore. They ride this system, they ride the beast, man. Okay, it says that bitter and hasty nation which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs, man. And that's what America, all right, and these other EU nations, okay. But mainly America is through the hammer of America, the military of America, okay, that the earth has been colonized, man. Okay, it said they are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves, man. And you read this in the NLT, it says they are notorious for their cruelty and do whatever they like. And that's that's what you're known for. That's what you're notorious for, man. Is your cruelty, man. You know, see, people don't know the stories of the cruelty of these Edomite military throughout history, man. You know, when Great Britain, you had 200,000 great troops from Great Britain, okay, that enforced, you know, the policy of 1948. Okay, the Balfour Declaration was enforced by what? The sword, by cruelty, man. Removing people, you know, with them Palestinians, you know, it's not their land neither. Okay, but how did you Edomites move them out of there? Through cruelty, man. Okay, you look at, you know, the experiments that they do, you know, on the African, you know, on the Hamites, and you know, there's some Jake over there in Africa as well. But the experiments that they do on those people in Africa, man. Okay, how they impoverish their place. Okay, always got their place in some type of civil unrest. Okay, what they've done in what they call the Middle East. Okay, Vietnam. All right, you devils that went throughout the earth in complete cruelty, man. You see, and it says, their horses also are swifter than the leopards and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And this is speaking of his military, man. Because of technology that the Lord blessed his devil with, his sword. This devil has been, superior, all right, to the nations of the earth, man. Okay, it says, and their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far, and they shall fly as the eagle. Okay, which is the symbol of you Edomites, man. Okay, he said they hasted to eat. They shall come all for violence. It says their faces shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand. Okay, you read this in the NLT. It says, on they come and bent on violence. Their hordes advance like a desert wind. These fighter jets, okay, sweeping captives ahead of them like sand. Okay, so these devils have colonized the earth, and now everywhere that there's an Edomite colony, the indigenous people are captives, man. Okay, so this devil has been allowed to do this because of prophecy's sake, man. But the Lord raised this devil up, okay, in these last days for judgment, man. You see, these devils are going to be judged, man. See, their pride finna be brought low. Isaiah 13:11. All right, and we ended on this, man. It said, I will punish, all right, the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible, man. See, their pride finna be stopped in the earth, man. Okay? Matter of fact, I gotta get that in Baruch. The Lord's gonna lay down the pride. He's gonna stop pride, man. And you devils are the most proud. Okay? Let's go here. Now that you subdued and you conquered, hoarded all the resources, and now you want to justify yourself, as if you're just some this great nation in the earth, that just has gave creation a helping hand that it needed. Okay, get the hell out of here, man. All right, and these devils eat it up, man. Okay, this is Baruch chapter 4 and verse 30. It says, take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee, man. Okay, so the Lord is comforting his elect, okay, in this time with his word, man, through faith. Okay, we're comforted when we read these things. When we hear these devils, we have a comfort, that they're going to be judged, man. Okay, the Lord has reserved these devils for judgment, and we have faith in that, man. It said, miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at thy fall. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation, man. It's gonna be priceless, man, to see you devils, just pay for this, man. To see you devils, be in this lower state, man, and powerless, man. That's gonna be beautiful, man. You see, and this is one of the things that we look forward to. The faith and the patience of the saints, man. We look forward to that, man. And it says, for I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning, for fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils of a great time, man. America gonna be turned to a desert. The EU gonna be war torn. All right. And by the time Russia, Russia get through tap dancing on y'all head. Okay. Russia, they gonna be through all these devils, man. All these nations, man. But it's beginning with you devils, man. That's why the Lord puts emphasis on judgment for Edom, man. That's why you're called out so many times in prophecy, man. You know, it says, O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from the Most High. And this is going to be us going home, man. You see, hey, it's a joyful ending for us, man. Okay. It says, our righteous are we in number. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They come gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory, okay, of the Most High, man. All right. So Lord will, you brothers and you sisters edified. You know, just want to get into that till next time I say shalom. A Bob soon.